Let's turn now to Pete Hegseth. Man, there is a full-scale meltdown happening at the Pentagon. It is just unbelievable. Let's go ahead and put C1 up there on the screen. This is just the latest, quote, Hegseth to have shared attack details in his second signal chat. The defense secretary sent sensitive information about strikes in Yemen to an encrypted group chat that included his wife and brother. His brother, to be fair, actually works for the Pentagon, but his wife, yeah, not so much. It appears to have been a scheduling like area, so it's not exactly clear why in the scheduling group chat that he was also sharing attack details. But beyond the signal thing, because we've all covered that at this point. Beyond the signal thing,
extra piece on this. This was his personal phone.
Yeah, which we already knew.
Which apparently the other one was on his work phone.
Wait, what? Oh, I thought it was his personal phone.
This one is on his personal phone.
Okay, I thought maybe it's confirmed this time. This is the personal phone.
His wife probably does not have her phone in lockdown mode either.
Right.
So.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good point.
His wife's phone must be hacked. And there's no because she's known.
Well, you'd be an idiot not to.
Right, because she's known to go to all these events and travel with him. So if you're any spy agency with Pegasus, which is like all the big ones now, like you've hacked her phone. You were in there.
Yeah, that's scary. Well, all right. So they possibly had access to that, But beyond this is the reason it's coming out right now. By the way, according to the Pentagon's own admission, they're like former disgruntled employees. The reason why all these leaks are happening is because of the insane purge that is happening right now over at the Pentagon. So not only is Pete Hegseth here back in the spotlight, he's going to have to answer for this before Congress, investigations, etc. But already the Trump administration has set the standard that no, there was no classified information sent here. Bullshit, obviously. And number two, we're not going to hold anybody accountable for it, including Mike Waltz, the guy who literally is responsible for much of this, and for any OPSEC concerns or whatever. But at the same time, they're firing a bunch of people who clearly knew about some of this stuff and are now out for revenge. They're out for blood. And so we can see out of some of that right now. And there's deep policy implications. Let's put C2, please, up on the screen. This is a statement from 3 former Pentagon officials who were fired and unceremoniously marched out of the building. One of them, former senior advisor Dan Caldwell. We've covered him on the show before. He's an America First appointee, very against war with Iran.
Loyal
sent out of the
ally
building.
of Hegseth, yeah.
Loyal ally, former employee of Hegseth for over a decade. You've got his former deputy chief of staff, Darren Selnick, and Colin Carroll, who was the deputy defense secretary's former chief of staff as well, all said in a joint statement that they had, quote, not been told what exactly we were investigated for, if there is still an ongoing investigation, or if there was even a real investigation of leaks to begin with. Remember, in the original leaks around this, we were told that this was a result of a leak investigation that involved polygraphs. And I was like, oh man, that's like very serious. Well, actually, it turns out none of them have been polygraphed. It was a complete fake investigation from the first place. Where Pete Hegseth stands in all of this is totally unclear. It's like, are you running your own department? These are guys not only loyal to you, but are much more, at least from what I know, are very against war with Iran, some of the more bad elements of the Trump administration's foreign policy, and for them to be fired, meanwhile they're protecting Mike Waltz and many of these other people who obviously are very pro-war, it's very troubling, Ryan. So he's got former disgruntled staff on his hands. I mean, they're blaming the leaks on them. I don't know if it's true or not, it's possible. But I think more important is that when these people are not in the building with Hegseth around him, look, he's a sponge, let's be honest, right? Whatever is around him. Well, if the only people that are left are the pro-war with Iran goons, not so good. He was one of the only 3 people in the Oval to speak out against an attack on Iran that the Israelis wanted us to do.
Right. And you see a lot of kind of Trump-supporting bots responding to this by saying, hey, Hegseth is getting rid of the deep state.
Right.
It's like, bro, Hegseth brought these people in.
Yeah.
These are not people who have been there before Hegseth, and now he's cleaning house.
Yes.
He built the house and then burned it down immediately. Yeah. You put up this next element on the screen, speaking of people he brought in. This is John Uliat, who was the top spokesperson for Pete Hegseth. Yesterday published an op-ed in Politico, absolutely ripping the Pentagon to shreds, saying that the thing is in complete meltdown. One of the things he goes after the new kind of spokesperson department for was Hegseth's first response to the signal chat. He said, Uliat says, the thing you do is you get all the bad news out first.
Yes.
Instead, they tried to play semantic games with whether or not these were war plans or attack plans, which then prompted Jeffrey Goldberg to release all the attack plans and say, okay, call them whatever you want.
Right.
Here they are. From Uliat's perspective, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like 101 PR is to be like, shame Mike Waltz did that. We won't let it happen again.
Bingo.
Instead, he turned it into a multi-week story that then focused on him rather than Mike Waltz. Uliat, interestingly, in this piece, says outright that he doesn't think that these guys that were fired for leaking were actually leaking, and that some of them were told, according to Uliat, that the investigation was about to wrap up and was going to exonerate them, and yet they were marched out anyway. Now, we also know that Joe Casper, who is Pete Hegseth's chief of staff, is the one who was assigned to lead the leak investigation. Now, he claims that he delegated this to other people. That's fine. That's what chiefs of staff do. They delegate those. But he himself has now been moved out of his job, according to Politico. There's some dispute about that, which is insane. Like, okay, wait a minute. Are you the chief of staff or you're not chief of staff?
The whole thing is preposterous.
Yeah.
And we are watching these people now squabble in public. John Uliat, as you said, the former spokesperson, they're like, oh, he was invited to be fired or whatever. It's like, well, he was employed there for at least.
You hired him.
And not only did you hire him, you've actually been working for the Trump administration or the campaign now for like some 7 years. So you can't exactly say that this is not somebody.
This is a
never
true
knew
believer.
the guy, never seen the guy. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean.
And he says, I'm still a Hegseth friend.
Right,
like, I love the guy.
What's crazy within all of this, let's put the next one up on the screen, is you can see here how the entire like inner circle around Pete Hegseth is now at war with one another. And that all of the people who it seems were most loyal to him somehow have been fired. Now, I have a very difficult time seeing how you can be fired, marched out of the building, all of the people who are allegedly so loyal to you without you having some say over it. I mean, can you really be fired of the Department of Defense without the say-so of the, the Secretary of Defense, the person who's running the building?
He must be read in on this.
Right? Yeah, so either you're read in or you're not read in. That's even scarier.
Right.
That means that the building is running without you. How does that work? Is this some deep state operation? That's what some people seem to be claiming. I just have no clue. I just know this is a cluster, and this is not how you run the largest office building in the entire world, right? And literally the world's preeminent superpowers military. It's not even just about competence. Like I said, the policy implications of this are crazy important because the people around him had views. They had strong views. They'd been around him. They had trust. And in their trust, they were able to advocate for a view which is never held at the highest levels of the American government. It was one of the hopes I had for this administration, for this government. So then to watch them get unceremoniously forced out, and then similarly to see Mike Waltz and the idiots around him, not only to be elevated, but to be entrenched in power at a critical decision time about war with Iran, very scary, Ron. Very scary.
And what's unfortunate for the quote-unquote America First side of the foreign policy argument is that Hegseth claimed to be and was kind of sold as somebody who had been on the kind of war hawk side of foreign policy, supported the Iraq War, et cetera. But through his lived experience, as the left would call it, and through his camaraderie with veterans and seeing the absolute failure of American foreign policy to achieve the outcomes that the young men and women were sent to achieve, many of them dying to achieve, and then just seeing it like just all turn to ash in their mouth, that he turned into an America First guy. If that's true, he has not stood up to that. There's so much pressure kind of in the Pentagon and in the war machine to push back to that war hawk side. He doesn't seem like he's been able to withstand that pressure, and instead has pushed aside all of the people that would help him stand up to that. One person I talked to who knows all of these people, including Hegseth, said that it's a question of character, that Hegseth has betrayed everybody who's ever been close to him in his life. And you can run through his life. Ask his mother, actually.
Well, I'm not going to go there. But you
but
can go
now
there.
it matters, because this matters to policy. And so now he has betrayed all of those people who are professionally and personally close to him, that he served with, that he worked in Concerned Veterans of America with, and is sycophantically siding with the more like bloodthirsty generals and others who are pushing him to stop saying no. Don't get in the way of this. Like let's bomb these people and just see what happens. And the other knock on him, besides the personal stuff, was that you've never run a large organization before. And now you're being asked to run the largest organization in the history of the world. Are you going to be up for that? We now have the answer. No, you're not up for it. Now, on the one hand, as somebody who doesn't want the Defense Department to accomplish its objectives, I support it being in complete chaos and meltdown, but I don't want it to be a flailing.
I was going to say,
exactly.
Because what happens is it becomes a power
limit
vacuum.
To that. Yeah.
It becomes a power vacuum. The building will just do whatever the White House or them tell them to do. A weak Pentagon is actually very bad for America because it means that the White House is not only totally in control, but also that they, you need war planners, you need advisors, you need people to game all of this stuff out. And if you have a vacuum there at the top, first of all, you're just going to leave it to the career staff who, we should trust the least. Yeah. But then also, you're going to leave it to the vacuum of the neocons who are running the National Security Council.
And it often is throughout history, the men and women who've been through war and are now at the top echelons of the military, both in the United States and other militaries, who paradoxically are the ones in the room who are saying, this might not be a good idea.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
what Sherman said, nobody who's been to war, could think it's anything other than hell.
It was something like that.
War is hell, and anybody who says otherwise hasn't been involved in it. And they have the credibility to then put the brakes on the chicken hawk neocons who are just ready to just launch tomahawks for whatever reason they can think of. The best time to attack Iran is yesterday. Second best would be today. If not that, let's plan for tomorrow. And so without a Pentagon, without any steady leadership, you could create a vacuum for people like that to creep in.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.